Well, as you guys know, we are very, very big on making sure that you have good communications. Whether it's a satellite device, whether it's Starlink, whatever it is, you need to make sure that you can get help when you need it. Well, one option is this. This is the HiBoost Travel 3.0 ExplorerX cell phone booster. Now, this is going to get installed in the Jeep. There'll be an antenna back here and one in the front to transmit the boosted signal to your phone. These should work pretty well for a lot of situations. Is this a perfect solution? I'm going to tell you right now, it's not, okay? And let's do a few comparisons. First off, start with our basic phone, right? Phones have a very limited range when it comes to cell phone towers. You have to be within a certain distance to be able to get signal. If you have no signal, you're out of luck. Now, with newer iPhones and some other devices, you can have satellite communications, which only means being able to send a text message. Doesn't mean being able to send a call. It doesn't mean that you have any data. So once you run out of cell signal, your options of communication become very limited, down to like text messaging. Same with a Garmin or an InReach or a Spot X. Those are great when there is no cell signal, but you still want to be able to send a text message. So we can do that with our phones now. We can do it with those other devices. We can send and receive text messages. Again, we can't do data. The only way to do data in the middle of nowhere with no cell signal whatsoever is with Starlink, which is very expensive. I mean, at minimum, you're spending $400 or $500 for the hardware, and you're spending, at minimum $50 a month for a roaming plan or $165 a month for an unlimited plan. But that's a very expensive proposition. Another option, such as this, is going to expand your cell phone coverage. So once your cell phone is no longer capable of receiving and transmitting a signal to the cell tower, a booster like this can give you quite a bit more range. Now, if you are still too far for even this to pick up a signal, well, then you're not going to have any signal. This has to have some signal to be able to boost. It may show on your phone that there's no bars, but it may be enough to pick this up. If your phone shows 1 bar, maybe, but it's still not enough for you to have any data service or make a phone call, this will absolutely take care of that situation. So you can greatly expand your cell phone coverage with a booster. Once you go outside the range of a booster, now your only other option for data is going to be something like Starlink. For a lot of people, this is going to be a great solution. Let's take a look at what this comes with. So in the box here, we have the amplifier itself. This is pretty simple. We have a DC in port. We have a port for the indoor antenna, a port to the outdoor antenna, and a USB port. We've got our antenna mast. We got some wire organizers here. And then inside, we have the main antenna unit itself, a spring attachment. We're going to get to this in just a moment. And the standard mount plate. Now, this has 6 different holes, giving you a range of mounting options. If I was going to mount this on the side of the rooftop tent, this would be awesome because I could just put it in, clamp it down pretty good. However, on the Jeep, we're going to mount it right here, which is a CB antenna mount. And that's where this guy, fortunately comes with it, is going to mount right there. So we're not going to need this. It also comes with a variety of other mounts. This is like a pole mount, zip ties, some antenna cable, your power, which is 12 volt, cigarette lighter style, with an on-off button on here, with pass-through USB-A, and then you have your internal antenna. So we want the external antenna to be as far away from this antenna as possible. So that external antenna is going to sit back here. This one sits on the dash right where we have our phones. So you want this one as close to your phones as possible. You want this one as far away from this one as possible. So that's what comes in it. We're going to go ahead and get it set up. For full disclosure, HiBoost did send this to me to review, and we're going to see how well it works. I've tried some other units in the past without really any success, but I think this one, because we're going to be having this antenna up higher, I think we're going to have better results than another unit that we had where the antenna is actually inside. So that didn't work out real well, but we're going to give this a shot and see how it works. Let's get to the install. Just a couple uggas there. That should be nice and snug. Should be good to go there. Next we need this piece, which is going to allow the antenna wire to come through and exit, and we're going to run it right into here. So we'll just screw this piece into place. And go ahead and align it. All right, that should be perfect. Go ahead and run the antenna wire through the mast. There we go. I've got a 13 millimeter wrench here just to help snug that down. Then we'll run the antenna cable through there and out of the bottom of that. And now we'll be able to put this together. Okay, we've got the antenna up. I'm really happy with the height here. It's actually a little higher than the top. And with the spring mount, if we're on a trail and it hits something, this is just gonna flex. It's not gonna be any big deal. So next we need to take this wire, connect it to this wire, and run it to the amplifier inside. I've got the amplifier down here behind the passenger seat, so pretty convenient for us. And then we have the internal antenna running up to the dash. I'll show you that next. Now this is not a very permanent installation at the moment, but I've got the internal antenna up here. My cell phone sits right here, so it's nice and close. And then I have the cigarette lighter adapter connected here. Now if everything works as it should, then I'll eliminate this, I'll wire it into an auxiliary port, and then properly, tuck wires around where they need to go. But for now, we need to test it and see how well it works. Okay, we're running the Signal Supervisor app. We've got it all set up. So I'm gonna tap on here and we'll see that everything is, kind of off the charts here. Super strong signal. LTE 700 is maxed out. Cell 800 is super. PCS 1900 is maxed out. AWS 2100 is maxed out. So what we need to do now is go for a drive. Go test it out. Get up to places where we know that we don't have any signal so we can see how well it's going to work. So what I need to do now is go for a drive, go up to a place where I know there is no signal so that we can see just how well it works. Let's go give it a try. Okay, we are out at Pinewood Reservoir and we have no cell signal. You can see by the status up on my phone, we are in SOS mode. We have no signal strength whatsoever and the system is turned off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my phone, dial *3001 #12345 #, and that's going to bring up a system where we can see some signal strength and stuff. So it's probably not going to show anything because we have literally zero signal. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn, oh, we'll wait here. We've got some data coming up here, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on the HiBoost, and all of a sudden we have some signal. And instantly we have some internet access. So let's see if we have any internet speed. So we're getting actually some pretty reasonable speeds here going up and down. And that's going to be plenty for us to come over and watch one of our videos. Pretty impressive. So we went from zero signal to a couple bars of LTE with enough bandwidth to actually stream a video. So I would say mission successful, but we need to test it out in some variety of real world situations and see how it works when we're out on different trails, different terrain, different environments, and see how well it works in those situations. So stay tuned for a long-term review in a few months and we'll see how things go. Until then, stay safe out there. We'll see you on the trails.